What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And for whatever reason, today to my left, other way, I have my esteemed co-host, friend, brother, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. Thunder just locked up. There you go. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was
Thunder locked up, not locked up, but are now tied for the top seed in the West with Minnesota, who's on kind of a skid. I think they're 5-5 in their last 10. Playing well, demolished the Blazers. OU basketball dropped a tough one, and the biggest news in the sport, really the biggest news since OU and Texas announced they were going to the SEC. I think this is probably the biggest news since then nationally for the sport. Nick Saban, the GOAT, all done at Alabama. How are you?
I'm good, man. Probably came off of one of the biggest wins of the year for my team. We just beat our defending Class A state champs at home by 7. It was a hard-fought game. We really controlled it throughout, but we gave up a crazy run, a 9-0 run, in the middle of the fourth that had them cut it to 1. And then we went on a 9-0 run of our own to match it and went back up 10 and ended up winning by 7. So I'm excited. I'm happy for the boys, but, obviously ready to talk some shop here. And, man, like you said, man, we got a ton to talk about, starting with, as you said, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Going down and deciding that, hey, I'm done. I'm hanging it up. The undisputed, pretty much greatest college football coach of all time, decides to hang it up, and it's going to leave an impact on college football for years to come. Obviously, you have to see who Alabama replaces, and man, I mean, those are going to talk about shoes to fill. Those are gigantic.
Yeah,
Stack size. Yeah,
stack size shoes.
Stack size shoes to fill. And obviously, while you hope Alabama hopes that they can keep some of their loaded classes intact, you have to believe that there's probably going to be some sort of exodus. I don't know how much or how little, but certainly probably a few would probably decide, hey, I'm going to go somewhere else. I was here because of Nick Saban, and you can't necessarily trust that that's going to be replicated under a new coach, no matter who they get, because there's nobody like Nick Saban. So, it's going to be interesting to see just the ripple effects that happen. Obviously, whatever coach leaves their, sacred program to go to Alabama, there's going to be a ripple effect from there too, because you can best trust and believe Alabama is not going to hire a Group of 5 coach or a lower Power 5 head coach. They're going to hire a big time name, and certainly big time names are going to want the opportunity to go to Alabama, not to follow up Nick Saban, because nobody wants to do that. But I mean, look at what you have there right now. Like he didn't leave the cupboard bare. There's a ton of people there for you to be successful almost right away. So.
Yeah, the infrastructure, the money, the culture. He's still going to be in the building. He'll still have an office in the building. I mean, it's a ready-made situation. And not only that, but your school's got a ton of money. You've been synonymous with success, even though obviously Saban has been synonymous with it, but they've been the same. People say Bama. They don't say Saban. They say Bama. So that still means something. They still have a ready-made championship contending type roster. A lot of other people losing a ton. Michigan's losing a ton. Texas is losing an absolute ton. Washington's losing a ton. Georgia's reloading, obviously. But, I mean, if Saban came back, they were going to be preseason top 5 again, and they would have been deserving of it. So we'll see. I felt good. I think I was the first one to report that it was not going to be Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know who it's going to be. I kind of want to hear from the chat. Like, who do you all think? Not who's the betting favorite, not anything. Like, who do you all think it's going to be? And JP, I want to get your answer first.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see it being Dabo just solely based off of how he is with the transfer portal. Granted, as of right now, Alabama's really not going to need, too much of the transfer portal as is. Like you have a stacked roster, the best roster in college football as we speak. Maybe Georgia has the closest, but I know Kalen DeBauer has been successful, obviously at Washington, but I mean, are we just gonna? Is he okay? Let me make sure I'm correct here. He's an offensive guy.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that I see Alabama wanting to go off the offensive route. Maybe, but again, he had Michael Penix Jr., who was one of the most seasoned quarterbacks and just obviously was a stud. And I'm not saying that Kalen DeBoer is not a great coach. Clearly he is. Got to the national championship in his, I think, third or fourth year at Washington. But like at the end of the day, he still had, a quarterback that helped him along. Who does he have when he goes to Alabama? Like, who's his quarterback? Jalen Milroe? Like,
well, he's won at Sioux Falls, and then he won at Fresno, was it?
Yeah.
And then he's not won at this level.
Yeah.
He's got NFL background. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy because 2 years ago, I would argue until halfway through this year, people didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
And now he's supposed to be Saban's successor?
Yeah.
Like, you talk about rags to riches, man. Like, that's about as much of a glow up as you can see in this sport. So, I mean, that would be intense. I mean, Dabo, if you remember, back in like 2018, even 2019, Dabo was kind of seen as the obvious coach in waiting type. Grew up an Alabama fan, played at Alabama.
Yeah.
Has won 2 national championships. He's proven. He recruits the area. Like, on paper, Dabo is the most obvious choice. But, I mean, he doesn't use the transfer portal. and it's weird. It's, people will say, well, that's because he's old school. It's like, bro, adapt or die. Like,
big facts.
Like, it's also old school not to use NIL. Be the first program to not pay a single NIL penny to a single player on their roster and see how quickly they drop down the standings. I mean, you have to play the game. And transfer portal isn't always just a bad thing of, selfish this, soulless this, free agency, this, that, and the other. It's not always that. Sometimes kids, maybe their coach left and they're looking for another spot. Maybe they miss home, and they want to come play somewhere else. Maybe they were playing at, Tarleton State and they were balling out and they decided to go play for a better program and you were that better program. Like it just can't, I don't know. I think his villainization of the transfer portal is a little bit silly. There was somebody that joined Chris Plank today. He's an Alabama insider. I don't know. I forget his name, but he said the pushback on Dabo is the fact that he's a Christian. I don't buy that. I know he's the Alabama insider guy, but there are many coaches that are very open with their faith. I know that, Dabo Swinney is probably chief among them, but I don't know. I don't really see. I think the way that he approaches 2024. I mean, in the top 25 composite rankings right now, he's the only one without a single transfer portal player. They're not bringing any of them in. And this is after losing Toriano Pride and Makuba.
Yeah, Makuba.
And he's losing dudes, but he won't take any. I don't know. Seems odd, but yeah, I mean, Dabo, DeBoer, I still think it would be hilarious if Sark went, and I think Sark makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, Sark's a guy that's coached there. He's a guy that was seen at one point as being Nick's successor. He's he can recruit the area well. He's about to have a depleted roster at Texas, and Texas fans
are being shambles.
Texas fans started arguing with me today whenever I said that there was a mass exodus, and all the usual suspects like SCO bands and all these dudes that, if they say that my take is bad, then that's how I know it's good. But
how the turntables, you arguing with Texas fans now?
It's a compliment to say Texas is having an exodus this year.
Yeah.
Because that means they're putting a lot of people in the NFL. Texas is losing the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, Outland Trophy winner. They're losing the Defensive Lineman of the Year in the Big 12 in Murphy, the Offensive Newcomer in the Year in Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, all Big 12, Jalen Ford, all Big 12, JT Sanders, all Big 12. They're losing Whittington. Brooks is all Big 12. They're losing him. I think they're losing 8 all Big 12 contributors, multiple first-round picks, and Texas fans don't think they're going to take a step back. If I were Sark, I'd say this is about as good time as any to go on to Bama. Saban already whipped the donors into being, taking a step back and saying, hey, let's let the coach coach. But I don't know, man. It's got to be one of those three, right? Sark,
yeah.
Or Dabo.
Yeah, you would think so. You would think so. I mean, yeah, I can't see it being anybody. Obviously, like you said, Lanning's out of the running now. I don't think Lane is ever going to be in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't even bring up Lane. Here's the thing. I do not understand why Lane is considered the hottest coach on the market. Every time there's an opening, it's always Lane. Lane has never. I mean, he's won won games at Ole Miss, but at the jobs he's been at, he's loud on social media. And he comes from a good football family, and he's been doing it a long time. He was back at USC back in the Pete Carroll days. He's done it under Saban, but I just don't think they. I think bringing in Lane Kiffin would make it feel a little bit elementary. He needs to be at a program that wants him to have fun, right? That really leans into that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I don't think they take Lane seriously. That's a good way to put it. Jesse James brings up Mike Norvell. From what I was told, Mike Norvell is about to announce an extension. So it's and they're still bringing on portal guys that must not think that it's anything to worry about. I know the ACC is sinking, but.
Yeah. They also just went undefeated, so I mean.
But he just went undefeated and they didn't make the playoff. So it would be a great time for Alabama to say, hey, look, not only do you not have to go undefeated here to make the playoff, you can lose 2 games and we'll put you in. Sometimes,
yeah.
So if you wanted to move to a place that would give them the benefit of the doubt, Alabama's definitely that place. But even Mike Norvell, man, 2 years ago, I remember being on the Twitter space with 1,000 Florida State fans that wanted the guy fired. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it just feels like Alabama is a top 3 roster in the sport. And
100%.
And they're going to pay somebody an 8-figure deal. Maybe, 8-figure deal to go be a coach there. Like mid 8-figure deal. Like, I mean, the NFL thing is interesting. Like a Vrabel, I don't think Belichick's coming to college, but like Vrabel's the only one that I would think of. But for not like to jump into recruiting and do that, and especially with the things that are all changing right now in college football, I don't think you're going to bring a guy that hasn't at least done some of it,
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially not, again, I mean, we're talking about right now the job of jobs in college football. Alabama is that they're that place, and obviously Saban, I think before Saban was there, obviously they're still blue blood, and obviously, they're in a position of where you could say it's a top 5 college football job, but like Saban has made it like a destination because, he's proven that you can win there and win consistently. And obviously they've shown, a ton of support, right, in Tuscaloosa, and that they're willing to do what it takes to get dubs, to win national championships.
Yeah.
So why would you not want to go to Alabama? And I think that more than anything, Travis, is why I scoff at the notion when people are like, it can't be done in Norman, Oklahoma. Because I'm like, how is Tuscaloosa, Alabama any different than Norman, Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a fertile recruiting ground. We are in the Dallas Metro gives you everything you ever need, and the state of Oklahoma is loaded in 2025.
I mean, we're closer to a metro. We're like Norman is way closer to a metro. Right. Tuscaloosa is more out in the boonies, more in the middle, out of the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Like, because we were talking about, obviously Texas fans talking about, let's talk about a real city like Austin, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
Well, that's what's funny is like, our boy Top Flight Boog, love the dude. He's Dallas. He's a Dallas guy. And he's like, why would you choose Tuscaloosa over Austin? It's like, well, there's a reason that most of the sports trophies reside in Tuscaloosa, Norman, Ann Arbor, South Bend, Indiana, Athens, Georgia. Like, it's not, it's not SMU, Texas, UCLA, Miami. Like, we've got some, but man, in the NIL world, give me the town that doesn't have 6th Street. You know what I mean? Like you can win anywhere. You truly can. As long as you are somewhat close to a fertile recruiting ground, you can win anywhere. So, it can be done in Oklahoma. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. And you've got to just do it with continuity. You got to do it with culture. You've got to do it. I know a lot of people are, frustrated that, Oklahoma refuses to just drop bags left and right. I get it. That's the short term. I get it. But the long term, you don't want every single player on your roster, lining up outside of Brent Venables' door saying, hey, I heard this guy's getting paid more than me. I played more snaps than him. I want more or I'm leaving. Like, you don't want to start getting in those conversations with guys. You want to compensate them fairly, but you want to have some structure to it. And I think that's what OU's doing.
Yeah.
So got some Austin hate going on. I love it.
San
Austin,
Francisco,
California.
Office, hilarious.
Austin, Massachusetts. Yeah. Austin is a San Francisco spinoff. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, Sooner Cowboys brings up Zalance Hurd could still land him. Absolutely. No doubt about it. I mean, it's if he visits Ole Miss, he'll go Ole Miss. Otherwise, it's between OU and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And until we hear an announcement, we won't know.
We won't know. How quick? Do you think it's lined up? Do you think it's, something that Saban would help them with too? I don't know if we talked about that.
Well, Saban's going to be around.
Is that what they said? Is he going to be like a consultant?
Right. He'll have an office there.
They'll give that man whatever he wants.
Right. My thing is, I think he'll have a say, because why wouldn't you ask the greatest coach of all time his opinion on a coaching hire?
Yeah.
Like, I would, if I were the greatest to ever do something and I was leaving and I had worked with people that I feel could most closely replicate what I've done, then yeah, I would say something. And that's why I think Sark makes some sense, because Saban gave him his second chance, as a coach. And he put together the best Alabama offense we've ever seen in 2020, and is close with Nick. They talk regularly. Like, I just think when you look at him versus Kalen DeBoer, like, there's no ties to Alabama. There's no ties to the Southeast. He's never recruited down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something they'd look for. And honestly, that's why Dabo makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they bring up Jesse brings up Zach Alley going to be announced. I was buddy Randy is at a coaching conference, and he said that Zach Alley is there with the OU coaches, hanging out with B. Hall and Bates and Chavis, and Jay Nunez is there, everything like that. Like, he's already traveling with the coaches, going to coaches' conventions with the coaches. It's all just they just got to wait for it to be approved. Like Joe said, regents are meeting tomorrow to finalize the contract. Like, Zach was at the conference with all those guys, most closely with B. Hall. But Randy was able to talk to him. He said he's well-spoken, energetic. Seems like a guy who knows what he's talking about. So he's already working. He's been in Norman. He's going to coaches conventions. We just need that announcement so we can officially go and talk to recruits.
Man, I'm excited about him. I am.
Speaking of so if he didn't talk to recruits right now, I don't think he can on behalf of the University of Oklahoma. Speaking of talking to recruits of another school while you're employed by one, did you see that Roy Manning is stepping away from USC?
No.
Yeah.
Is he?
He put it out on Twitter. It looked like a farewell USC post. So he was outside linebackers and edge coach there. So that means Odom and him are both gone.
Odom left?
Yeah, I think Odom got replaced by the
by the coach. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, the Roy Manning out at USC.
Wow.
So I'm excited about Zach Alley as well. I think, a lot of people bring up his age, and I don't really. I mean, the greatest coach of all time is 72. And I don't think age matters when it comes to coaching. I think Brent was 29 when he started at OU as co-DC. And Lincoln was hired very young, and he was a good offensive coordinator for us, whether we like to admit it or not. Lincoln was hired very young. And Lincoln was hired to run an offense under a defensive head coach. That's far more responsibility than what Zach Alley has. Zach Alley is going to be running Brent Venables' defense under Brent Venables. he's going to be calling it. But it's interesting because Nick Saban said that he had to be involved in the defense more than he wanted to, and that kind of took it out of him a little bit. That's what Brent's avoiding. He's like, look, I want it to be my defense. I need to bring in somebody I can trust. Well, he trusts Zach Alley, so I'm going to as well.
Yeah, like I said, like you said earlier, I mean, yeah, youth doesn't have anything to do with it. If you can coach, you can coach. Period. Point blank. And we mentioned it last week. Lincoln was super duper young when he, became an offensive coordinator here. And people don't love us to use that name, but we tell the truth. And he was a good offensive coordinator, for the University of Oklahoma, and did a lot of nice things for us. But I digress. I'm excited to see what he looks like. What we're going to get out of him as a defensive coordinator. And again, from all intents and purposes, everything we've heard, he is I don't say carbon copy, but, obviously a Brent Venables lookalike, or, just in the terms of the way they're wired and how they do things, the attention to detail, different things like that, which is why I'm sure Brent wanted him so bad, And we always say this, we're going to trust Brent Venables and what he decides to do, especially when it comes to his defense.
Right, and I'm glad you added that last part. Trust Brent Venables? Sure. I mean, if you just say, do you trust Brent Venables? Yes. But when it comes to like hiring an offensive coordinator, do you trust Brent Venables? I do, but I don't have as much reason to trust him as I do with other things. Like, hey, who should I get to call my defense? There's literally only one person's opinion that matters on it.
Yeah.
And it's the guy whose defense it is that happens to be hiring for the position.
Yep.
So I know a lot of people, wanted the big splash, but big splash would have been the wrong hire, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you got to fire one of the again, in a world of absolute chaos and NIL and conference realignment and 12-team playoff and transfer portal and coaches jumping and the GOAT retiring and Belichick getting fired and Pete Carroll retiring, like all this going down. If you can be a constant, if you can be the calm, steady, stable voice
Yeah.
in absolute chaos, then that will attract people.
Yeah.
People will look and say, look, this coach is going to be there. And that's why Dan Lanning said it in his video. He said, if you're afraid of your coach leaving, come play for us. I'm not going anywhere. Like that video, Oregon knows what they're doing from a PR perspective. They took full advantage of that. And you saw Dylan Gabriel in the video. I was like, hey.
DG.
I was like, hey, there he is. So, but that's the thing. It's continuity. I will still probably overvalue, but I think it's the way to go. I think you have to. I think when you can, all these kids, they don't know whether their coach is going to be there. And Nick Saban said that, the main question he gets from recruits are you going to be here for the whole time that I'm here? 3 to 5 years. And he said he needed to be honest with them. And that answer, he didn't quite know the answer to it anymore.
Yeah.
Which makes me kind of think, did you not know the answer to it 3 to 5 years ago? Because recruits were asking it then too.
Ask you then.
So like when they asked you this year, is that when you started, is that when you started second guessing it? But
yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is, obviously last week, though, for those of you who were here, Travis announced some of his fun things he's got going on. One of which being, a partnership with RighteousFelon.com. So, Travis, I'll let you speak more to that and let the people know what kind of jerky you got this week.
Thank goodness, because I was starting to get a little bit hungry. I kept on picking up the pack, and I was like, all right, we'll wait. So, for those of you that are on last week, like he said, partnered with RighteousFelon.com, Righteous Felon Jerky. I got it as a gift and loved it and tweeted about it, and they got in touch with me, and we got some things worked out. So Les got his, and last week I think I did the Truffalo Bill, or no, I did the Bourbon Franklin last week. This week I've got the Habanero Escobar from Righteous Felon. Really, really, really good stuff. So somebody told me that this one is very spicy. So I've got my water here just in case. So got some jerky. Yeah, I mean, this cold weather, I'm off to Kansas, actually. I'm heading to that basketball game, so I'm going to need to pack some for the road.
Right. Are they playing?
Say what?
When are they playing?
Saturday at 1 o'clock. What I like about it is it's not that like sugary. You know how some of it, it's like meat candy almost. Some of them just get so like corn syrupy, and this not that. You see the seasoning on it, all that. It's good. Everything they make is good. Now, I'm glad you brought it up. Now, I think they do free shipping on orders of $50 or more, and you get 15% off if you use the code Travis. All you got to do is go to RighteousFelon.com, promo code Travis. So, all out of stock. I think Les bought it all.
Yeah, out of stock?
It must be on some stuff. I know a lot of people started tagging me in their photos today on it.
Dang.
I know my Joe Dusty got the Noah's Ark. Nice. They've got all kinds of different sampler packs. They've got biltong. So if you like the sugar-free style of your diet's better for that. This one, it's got 20 grams of protein for only 140 calories, gluten-free, all that good stuff. So the Habanero Escobar, it got a little kick to it.
You like the taste?
It's got a little. It's delicious, but it's got a little lingering taste.
Got a little kick to it, huh?
A little lingering kick to it. But check the people out at RighteousFelon.com, and Travis gets you 15% off. It's delicious. I don't promote stuff that I don't use or I don't enjoy. So I use this and I enjoy it. So go get you some. Let's talk Casey Thompson.
Casey Thompson, let's do it.
What do you think?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, and we're being candid here, that's what we do on the JP and Trav show. I don't know what we're talking about with Casey Thompson because I have been locked into my game all day. I have not been on Twitter. So what happened?
All right. Long time coming. 7th year, Casey Thompson.
Is he coming to OU?
He is now at OU. He announced it today.
What?
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh! No, nobody texted me, and I really have not been on my phone today at all. Like I said, we just defeated the defending state champ, so I've been locked into that all day. Plus, I've had some other stuff going on with my job as athletic director, 5 million things at once. So I really have not been on Twitter all day until you asked Trav. I literally, I tweeted that we were going to be live like 30 minutes before we were live because I was not on my phone. So.
And he didn't even send me the link.
I didn't send him the link. My mind was everywhere. So
I was like, bro, you gonna let me get on the pod or what?
Casey, you know what, Boomer 129, forget you, dog.
I'm not really canning apples.
It's me and you. It's me and you. You didn't have to do that.
Apples.
It's not even. It's not even October.
Incredible.
Okay? It's not even October. But yeah, man, Casey Thompson back at OU.
Casey Thompson.
Do we think that he's going to be QB2 automatically?
I think early in the season, I think he'll be QB2. I hope that Michael Hawkins Jr. is given some reps.
Yeah.
And Brendan Zurbrugg is given some reps. He's coming off an ACL in his 7th year. I mean, he's thrown for a lot of yards. He had that hell of a season at Texas, throwing through the air. But I don't know. He's coming to be the backup in a break. He's a PWO, so he's not taking a scholarship. So that's good. He wants to do his pro day here. He passed up the XFL or UFL in order to come here. I mean, I think getting more experience is never a bad thing. He's played at Texas, big school. He's played at Nebraska, big school. Played at FAU for Tom Herman. Not a big school, but is what it is. I don't know. I guess he's QB2, but like I said, I want Michael Hawkins to get some reps, man. I don't want him to be relegated to, sitting there learning the playbook. So initial thoughts, since it's so new to you, what are you thinking?
No, I mean, I completely understand what you're saying. Obviously, you want to have a quarterback, as seasoned as Casey Thompson there in that position in case, God forbid, something were to happen to Jackson Arnold. It does make me nervous because obviously of how injury prone he's been. And so, obviously, regardless of whatever, like he's going to probably have to be QB2. I guess my biggest question, Trav, about it all is, who's QB3? Is it Booty or is it Hawkins?
Booty's going to be in year 3. He runs the scout team. He knows the language. Hawkins is next in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Zurbrugg going to be QB5? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I do. It's gonna be interesting, but it's a cool story though. That he would be able to come full circle, come back home. Obviously, we've seen him torch us in the Red River, rivalry game when he was healthy, and so
yeah, he did.
Obviously he's probably not the player he was, but certainly I think being able to be in that room, and not that Jackson learns anything from him in terms of like physical ability or things like that, but certainly, having a seasoned guy like that as Jackson is going into his first full season starting can only help you. If he can be some sort of mentor to Jackson, like Dylan was, but now Jackson is playing, and he's gonna need somebody that's in his ear, positively, that's been through a lot of things, seen a ton of stuff, and I think Casey can be that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it is a collaborative room. That's one thing Dylan talks about a lot is like when he'd come off the sideline, like, yeah, he talked to Levy on the phone, but like it was very much like, look, what are you doing here? Like, you need to be doing this differently. Like, he said that General, Jackson, and Davis all helped him out a ton, like in-game adjustments and things like that. So it's that room is very collaborative. I really think Michael Hawkins is going to be really good, and that's my only problem with it.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to, bring him in. I mean, he's not going to be allegedly. He's not going to be a full go in spring because he's going to have he's needs to get cleared for a ACL. And you got Michael Hawkins that's already there practicing. Like going through winter workouts, did the bowl prep, like all that kind of stuff. Like he's getting as much of a leg up as you can get. And the dude is an athlete. He's going to be the best athlete that we have in that room. So push comes to shove. I mean, I know if, God forbid, Jackson gets hurt in the first couple of weeks, yeah, throw Casey out there. But if it's week 9, like have something together for, Michael Hawkins. Because if you redshirt him, cool. Now Sperry shows up, and you've got Jackson Arnold in year 3, Hawkins, who still hasn't played any football, and then Sperry, you've got to redshirt him, and it's just you start to really get a logjam going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. But that's awesome news. I figured when you brought it up that he probably came to OU. But like I said, I have not been on Twitter literally all day. I didn't have anybody text me and be like, yo. I don't think even Bleach Report said anything about it, which, hey.
He's a 7th-year guy coming as a PWO to be a backup. I don't know if that's Bleacher Report worthy.
Casey Thompson comes to OU, fire emojis.
I mean, that would have been cool in 2019.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
So 2021.
But, hey, before we go to questions, I know y'all see the dope hat Travis has on, and I'm going to let him tell you more about that as well.
Yes. So, my boy Reddy, those of you know the walk-on kicker, Reddy Mustafaraj. Him and his sister started the clothing brand Shop Double Team. I know you've seen me wearing the polo. You've seen Toby Rowland wearing the polo. You've seen Jeremiah Hall. You've seen all these guys. You probably have them. Gunny wears the polo. They've got the Boomer hat that I wore last week. This is another one of their hats. It's the Norman Football Club. Hold on. There we go. Norman, Oklahoma Football Club, established 1895 with the little guy on there with the Shop Double Team. Little trucker style, and then they've got the double team on the inside. So they've got the 2 hats. They've got a bunch of the polos, and shopdoubleteam.com, and use the code Travis15. You get 15% off. So really nice polos, really cool hats. I wear this and the other one all the time. The other one probably I wear even more, but definitely like the hats. And what's cool is Reddy. So I don't make a dime off these shirts or the hats or anything like that. Reddy is a walk-on, and he helps pay for his expenses with the shopdoubleteam.com earnings. So this is a way you can help one of our walk-ons. Who knows? Maybe he might need to kick some field goals next year. You never know. So anyways, always want to shout out Reddy and his sister. The other one is a bit more of a flat bill, not like a real traditional flat bill, like you see, but the other one's a little bit flatter than like the trucker style one. The let's see, I'll grab it real quick. All right, this is their other one. So, Boomer with the slot machine, and it's got like the gold little sparkle on it. And it's got Max Bet on the back. This is the snapback. And then they've got the trucker fit with the Norman, Oklahoma Football Club. So, again, he's a walk-on. Always good to support our walk-ons. ShopDoubleTeam.com. Code Travis15. So go ahead and hit the like while you're at it too.
Do we need a break for the likes this time, guys?
We're pausing 60 seconds for likes. Let me see what it's at. I will say the habanero is a little spicy. Only 24 likes. We're taking a
Oh,
minute
that's
off.
terrible.
24. Come on, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. Guys, just hit that like button. That's all it takes. Just quick. Bang. Just like that. More than 80 of you in here. Let's get that up way past 28. That's insane. All right, let's move on to Q&A before we get out of here. And get on to our Thursday nights and Friday mornings for some of us.
All right. I can only like once teriyaki. Very good. Travis, you got a hint of pepper. Is the teriyaki one? Oh, that's the teriyaki Balboa, I think.
Mm.
The Soul Survivor. That one's really good too. Their Asian spices are good. The Boomer Cast says, "Oh, that's not a question. I thought it said, is it not? It is. What, if any, Bama transfer portals do we see from Boomer 129? You know, I heard a little rumor tonight. That Caleb Downs is already planning visits.
Is that right?
The number one safety in the country from a year ago. The safety that Nick Saban said reminded him of Minkah Fitzpatrick, which those of you that follow Bama know that that's about as high a praise as Nick Saban can give a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hearing that Caleb Downs will be setting up a visit to the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
So, I mean, I would love for him to visit Oklahoma, but I mean, all I know is that it's been set up to, allegedly, according to my Ohio State guy, been set up to Columbus.
Excuse me.
Biggest impact as a freshman? Jaden Jackson or David Stone? What do you think, JP?
It's a good question, Boomercast. Dang. I mean, this is gonna sound crazy to say. As good as David Stone is, I don't know the last time I feel like we had a guy that was built like Jaden Jackson. And so, like, I think David Stone will make a ton of plays. Like, and you could even say David will have more stats, but like, I think there's a very good chance that Jaden Jackson makes a larger impact just based off of his stature and his size. And that's a guy that like it was huge for us to get because we don't have a ton of guys like him. And not that we have guys like David Stone, that's not what I'm saying. But like I feel like we've seen David can do a lot of different things. Obviously interior. You could probably even move David to a defensive end and he could be able to, be fine. Almost again, David will probably end up being better than this cat, but Isaiah Thomas, kind of reminds me of like that guy that can play. He can play 3 technique. He can play 5 technique. He can play, typical defensive end. Like he can probably do a lot. Jaden though is his true nose, like in every sense of the word. And you don't find those guys a dime a dozen. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think David's the easy answer because he's the 5-star plus.
Yeah.
But I also think Jaden's very underrated. I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think they need to do an IMG package and put in Downs or RMT or Trace Ford or PJ or whoever on the outsides, but let Jaden Jackson and David Stone play next to each other like they did at IMG. Like, those two been playing next to each other for a long time. I think at some point, maybe in a blowout, maybe against the University of Maine, you let them both go out there together and play next to each other just like they did at IMG.
Yeah. That would be amazing. You'd love to see that. How many players in the portal after spring ball?
Oh, man. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe 5. That's maybe a lot. I don't know. 3 to 5, I would say. Because then you get your guys that have decided, hey, this is not going to be for me at OU. I'm not going to get the playing time I want. The freshmen are going to solidify somewhat themselves in terms of what their promise is going to be, especially heading into the fall. Going to have kind of more of a clear picture. I would say 3 to 5.
I think you're going to see maybe another wide receiver leave. I think
they receive defensive tackles leave or no?
I think a linebacker might leave.
Mm-hmm.
Either Kobe, Kip, or Jaron will not win a starting job. Or, I mean, 2 of those won't win a starting job. And then you've got Picciotti, Lewis Carter, and Sammy Omosigo behind him. I don't know. That's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
A lot of really, really good guys that might start at other places. So, I mean, I think you're going to lose some. I mean, I have no intel on this, but I think you're going to lose somebody that is going to hurt. But it's only the reason that it hurts is the same reason that they'll leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the same reason it hurts to have them leave is the same reason that they should leave, because they can go start somewhere and they're not going to be better than Danny or whoever wins the starting job. So, you'd like to continue to be stacked there. You think maybe, Sammy might be able to play a little cheetah, something like that. But I don't know. That's the position that seems really stacked. Defensive backfield's getting that way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, we've already had a running back leave. If we bring in Hurd, be a lot of offensive linemen. You bring in Spencer Brown, Hurd, Fabechi, Woo, and Michael Tarkin. I mean, that's 4 transfers coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get that you lost Savion and Nate Anderson and Aaron Parks and Tyler Guyton, obviously, Caden Green on those. But, you signed a pretty big class that's coming in. Not pretty big, but a fine-sized class that's coming in. And then, 4 offensive linemen, right? Yeah, EPL, Eugene, Daniel Akinkumi, Isaiah Autry. So, you're adding 8 offensive linemen to that room through the portal and through recruiting. And I think you lost 6, maybe. So, I don't know. You're gonna lose dudes in the portal, but that's part of what kind of bums you out when you cover recruiting or follow recruiting so closely. Like, it's these kids. Like, you were excited about them at the time, and then they end up leaving, and you're like, man, I remember when he came on the podcast, or I remember that, we were excited when he hit the commitment, and this,
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sooner in Texas, by the way, this is the sponsors jerky. He said, I thought Trav was only going to eat the sponsors jerky on the shows.
That is it. They got a lot of different flavors, dog.
Righteous Felon, every week. Habanero Escobar, right there.
Yeah, a lot of different flavors, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to have a new flavor every week. I'm going to keep you guys guessing.
Oh, man. Any other questions, guys? Got a couple more minutes here. Trav and I are both have had a long day, but we love y'all. So we out here grinding.
We'll let you play OL
with the fam.
PG, I'm not sure you could cut it.
No. PG, you would be a punter.
Yeah, PG, what position would you play? PG, what are the measurements? What's your height and weight like? What's the placeholder? Okay.
Placeholder, I'm good. PSS has a good question. What do you think of the new NCAA NIL protections proposal? Saw the story floating around this morning.
I've not
Is
seen
that where they have the schools pay?
I've not seen it, to be honest.
Hmm.
I was too worked up in Saban rumors.
Yeah. Yeah. PSS, if you want to put in the comment section specifically what they were kind of talking about, but
it's kind of a Reader's Digest.
Yeah. Dang, Wes, you come after PG like that? Say you're the water boy.
Ooh. Maybe water boy like Adam Sandler was the water boy.
Boomer, Joe Dusty, Baker Mayfield.
PG seems like he might be a pet bird for talking back.
Direct payment, contracts, transparency. So basically just more clarification.
Transparency on it.
And transparency on what's happening without the, what do you call them? I was about to say trust funds. That's not what I'm thinking of. What are they called? Who runs the NIL right now?
Collective, you're thinking of.
Yeah, collectives. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the collectives. So taking away from the collectives and making it more a school's job opportunity. To be honest, I don't want that to happen for us because OU's compliance is already a mess.
Right. We need to not let them make more decisions.
Yeah.
But my thing is and I've talked to Toby Baldwin about this. I know, we don't have the audience that K-Ref and some of the others have, but Crimson and Cream NIL is the official NIL of OU. For those of you that don't know, you can set up monthly, you can do whatever with that. When guys like Caden Green go to meet about their NIL payments, they're meeting with the Crimson and Cream NIL collective. Yeah. That's where they go. So I know there's not it's weird because people are I don't trust who's getting my money, or that I don't know who to talk to, or if it's really going to where it and I want it to go. Crimson and Cream NIL is exactly where it needs to go. I give monthly. I know a bunch of people that give monthly. It just is what it is. I don't want to tell any of you what to do with your money, except buy jerky. Other than that, and hats and polos. But other than that, I don't want to tell any of you what to do with your money. But if you are comfortable or interested in giving money to OU's NIL, Crimson and Cream NIL is where it needs to go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right there. They're trusted. They're smart people in charge. They're getting it to the athletes. It's all good.
See what else we got. Top 1% of talent may not reap as much, but most players will benefit.
Is there anything to be done with the length of the commercial breaks on KREF? Look, that's above my pay grade, and no. I need those commercial breaks. How do you think I get paid?
Yeah.
Got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills. I'm sorry, now we've got commercials on here. I'm doing live reads, doing ad reads on here. And yes, Stephen G., we can shout out the Thunder, who won by 62 points this evening, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd. But
oh yeah,
they are not longer than the segments. Boomer 129. That's cap. Stop cap. Stop the cap.
62 points is wild. Stop the cap. Boomer 129. What's he say? What did he say?
He said the commercials are longer than the segments.
Cap.
It's cap.
Our segments are pretty long actually. Oh, you're talking about KREF. I'm tripping.
Right.
All right, guys. I think that is a wrap for us tonight. We appreciate everybody being on here with us. Let you know about next week. I got an away game, and that's like an hour and a half away. So yet to be seen if I will be home in time for our podcast. However, Trav and I will talk.
You can roll from the road, baby.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I might be with my boys, and I'm not getting in on here. They would say
I will just be going to the OUKU game on Saturday, 1:00. I will not be going to the Kansas City game as of now. That could change, but as of now, not going to the 20 below football game in Arrowhead. The coldest game I've ever been to was in Arrowhead, the OU Big 12 Championship. Not going this one, but Sooner in Texas is asking for it. So what's the jerky flavor this week? I've already smashed it, but it was Habanero Escobar from Righteous Felon. It's good stuff. 140 calories, 20 grams of protein, gluten-free, this, that, and the other. I only rep stuff that I actually eat. This wasn't a situation where they reached out and were like, hey, we'd like to be on the pod, like to do this, that, and the other. If you would try our jerky. No. I ate the jerky as a gift. I said, holy crap, this is delicious jerky. I think I'd like to eat this all the time. I'm going to tell people about it. So we worked something out. So Bourbon Franklin last week with the bourbon and vanilla bean. This one, the Habanero Escobar. So, yes, it does look a little longhorny. I get it. That's why you consume it. You consume it. You eat your rival.
Yes.
So, but this one's good. Got some building spice. You see my cheeks flushed a bit.
Yeah.
That's I'm starting to match the bill of my hat. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'll try next week. You have to stay tuned. If we end up having a show, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll stay connected and we'll let y'all know about it. But regardless, y'all know we're locked in with y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's always here and supporting us. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure, again, you hit those codes for Trav, his hat, double team, and then Righteous Felon for the beef jerky. We'll see y'all next week, probably. Boomer, love y'all. We switched again. I'm sorry, y'all that are still on here. I'm on my iPad today, so bye.